For the first time in history, the FAA has officially declared SpaceX's Starship, both its booster and ship, reusable. This marks a turning point in spaceflight, a move that could cut launch costs by over 90% and reshape the entire industry. Yet behind this approval lies a critical question. Can SpaceX truly make full reusability a reliable reality? Let's dive right in. When the FAA made its latest declaration, it didn't just approve another rocket flight, it validated a concept that could change how humanity reaches space. For the first time ever, SpaceX's entire Starship system, both the Super Heavy booster and the Starship upper stage, is officially cleared for full reusability. That single decision quietly rewrote decades of aerospace tradition. Because until now, rockets were designed to die after liftoff. For most of human spaceflight history, rockets were single-use giants. Breathtaking to launch, heartbreaking to waste. The engines burned millions of dollars per minute, and when their job was done, they fell into the sea, never to fly again. NASA, Roscosmos, ESA, all played by that rule. Then SpaceX broke it. Falcon 9 didn't just change how rockets landed, it changed how the industry thought. Watching a 14-story booster touch down on its tail wasn't just an engineering milestone. It was a statement that reusability wasn't science fiction anymore. More than 240 successful landings later, Falcon 9 made what was once extraordinary now feel ordinary. But to Elon Musk, that wasn't enough. The next step wasn't just reusing part of a rocket. It was reusing everything. And that's where Starship and its steel giant, Mechazilla, comes in. Standing tall at Starbase, Texas, Mechazilla isn't just a launch tower. It's a robotic monster built for precision. Two massive chopstick arms reach out from the tower, capable of moving with millimeter accuracy. Their mission? Catch a 70-meter-tall booster returning from space and set it back onto the launch mount, gently enough to relaunch it hours later. It's not just clever engineering, it's logistical revolution. Landing legs? Gone. Drone ships? Unnecessary. SpaceX's goal is to turn rocketry into a repeatable process, not a destructive spectacle. But here's the twist. SpaceX doesn't plan to stop there. The FAA's new declaration confirms it. The same Mechazilla system will attempt to catch the Starship upper stage itself. If catching the booster is like plucking a falling skyscraper from the sky, then catching Starship is more like catching a meteor. After orbiting Earth at 28,000 kilometers per hour, Starship must endure temperatures above 1,500 degrees Celsius, violent plasma turbulence, and atmospheric stress that can tear steel. Every tile of its heat shield matters. One missing piece could cause catastrophic failure. Once through the chaos of re-entry, Starship flips horizontally, the dramatic belly flop maneuver, using drag to slow down. Seconds before impact, it reignites its Raptor engines, swings upright, and lines itself perfectly for the tower's robotic arms. Everything, the angle, velocity, timing, wind, and engine thrust, has to align within fractions of a second. If it works, Starship won't just land, it'll be caught. No space agency, past or present, has ever achieved that. So what is the dual catch everyone's talking about? It's SpaceX's plan to recover both stages of Starship in one continuous cycle, a feat never attempted before. To make this happen, SpaceX is completing two Mechazilla towers at Starbase. One will focus on booster recovery, the other on catching the Starship upper stage after re-entry. This setup allows something unprecedented. While one rocket is launching, another is landing. While one ship is being refueled, another is already being prepared for flight. It's the closest humanity has ever come to spaceflight on an assembly line. If successful, the impact will be enormous. Each Starship system reportedly costs nearly $200 million to build. But if both parts can be recovered, inspected, and reused within hours, the cost per launch could drop below $10 million, about a 95% reduction. That's not just cost savings, that's economic disruption. NASA's SLS costs over $2 billion per flight. SpaceX could, in theory, launched 200 Starship missions for the same budget. But even Musk admits, none of this comes easy. Starship's path has been a storm of trial and error, explosions, test failures, and fiery lessons. From the small Starhopper in 2019 to the dramatic prototype crashes of SN8 through SN15, each failure built the foundation for something bigger. SpaceX's engineers live by one principle: fail fast, learn faster. That mindset is what made the Falcon 9 reliable, and it's what's pushing Starship toward the dual catch. Still, the margin for error is razor thin. A failed catch could destroy not just the rocket, but the Mechazilla tower itself, a multi-billion-dollar structure. And yet SpaceX keeps pushing forward because they know what's at stake isn't just another rocket. It's the entire future of reusable space transportation. When the FAA document went public, industry insiders noticed immediately. Blue Origin's upcoming New Glenn still uses traditional landing legs. ULA's Vulcan Centaur upper stage is expendable. Even China's most ambitious rockets are decades away from this level of recovery. SpaceX, meanwhile, is attempting something that could make landing pads and ocean barges obsolete. If Mechazilla's dual catch system works, it would be the first time in history a company reused both rocket stages, not just partially, but completely. That would mean launch frequency limited not by production, but by turnaround speed, just like an airline. And in that future, whoever controls reusability controls the entire launch market. Behind all this metal and fire are thousands of engineers, technicians, and coders working in silence at Starbase. They're not just building a rocket, they're trying to make history repeatable. Every Raptor engine is being tested to survive dozens of flights. Every tile is redesigned for faster maintenance. Every landing algorithm is refined through simulation and real-world data. This isn't luck. It's iteration at a scale few companies can match. That's why, even after setbacks, SpaceX continues to attract the best minds in aerospace. People who believe that risk is the price of progress. And make no mistake, the FAA's green light didn't come out of nowhere. It's a signal that the agency now believes SpaceX's vision is not just bold, it's feasible. As of now, SpaceX is preparing its next-generation Starship prototypes, built with improved heat shielding, stronger alloy rings, and upgraded Raptor engines with better thrust efficiency. Meanwhile, Mechazilla systems are being upgraded with faster hydraulic response, better AI-guided alignment, and reinforced catching arms. The next test flights will not just aim for orbit, they'll aim to prove the dual catch sequence in real time. If successful, SpaceX will demonstrate that spaceflight can be as reusable as aviation. That's when the industry changes forever. Because when cost drops, access expands. Mars missions, lunar logistics, satellite networks, all become economically possible. And that ultimately is the heart of this story. This isn't just about rockets. It's about the moment humanity stops throwing away progress and starts building it to last. So now the question stands, can SpaceX truly perfect the art of catching the sky itself? Share your thoughts below, because whether you believe in Musk's dream or doubt his methods, one thing is clear. The race for total reusability has officially begun. And this is exactly why the FAA's decision changes everything. It's not just about approval. It's proof that SpaceX's dream of full reusability is becoming real. What this means is simple. If the dual catch succeeds, space travel could shift from a one-time mission to a repeatable system. Faster, cheaper, and more sustainable than ever before. This breakthrough isn't just SpaceX's win. It's a leap forward for all of humanity's journey beyond Earth. And the next few launches will show whether Mechazilla can truly make history. What do you think? Can SpaceX really perfect the world's first full two-stage recovery? Share your thoughts below. If you found this analysis valuable, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Space Hub for more in-depth coverage of every major space milestone. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Because at Space Hub, we don't just report the news, we help you understand the future of space. China has officially turned the ocean into its new launch pad. a move that's catching NASA's and even SpaceX's attention. Unlike experimental tests, these sea launches are real, frequent, and successful. With multiple rockets now taking off from mobile ocean platforms, China is reshaping how the world thinks about space access. What's driving this bold strategy? And how far can it go? Let's dive right in. For decades, China launched rockets from inland bases, Jiuquan, Taiyuan, and Xichang, deep inside mountain ranges. These locations were chosen during the Cold War for one reason: secrecy and protection. But as technology advanced, those same advantages became constraints. Each launch meant closing vast airspaces, evacuating nearby villages, and accepting the risk of debris falling onto civilian areas. Some boosters, powered by toxic hypergolic fuels, created real danger. A failed stage could release deadly chemicals on impact, a controlled hazard that locals simply learned to live with. China's leadership knew that couldn't continue forever. Safety, environmental impact, and global optics demanded change. And that's where the sea came in, not as a symbol, but as a solution. Launching from the ocean meant cleaner flight paths, safer fall zones, and most importantly, freedom to choose launch angles without crossing populated land. It was both an engineering decision and a political statement. China would no longer be limited by geography. The transformation began in Shandong province, at a coastal city few outside China had ever heard of, Haiyang. There, the Dongfang spaceport, or Oriental